It's a football Saturday in the SEC. Here is the starting lineup. The man with the golden voice, sports savant, Keefer. One of Birmingham's all-time most multi-talented, iconic broadcasters, Tony Kurre. Four-time champion Paul Feinbaum show caller contributor, the legend. The illustrious First Lady of SEC football, Terry Quillian. Award-winning national sports handicapper from Las Vegas, Case Keefer. And now, let's talk football.
From Gobble Day, Turkey Day, it's hard to believe it's the 12th week of college football here on the starting lineup. I'm Tony Kurre along with Kip Keefer and our very special guest, Stuart Rome. Stuart Rome, of course, the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Stuart, I want to jump right into the good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Everyone has Black Friday stuff, and of course, Black Friday kind of starts like right after Halloween now. You have this thing at the Woodhouse Day Spa where you can get 6 packages or 6 different things for the price of 5, correct? Yep. But you got something really special going on this Black Friday. What's that?
Yep, we're doing one day a year, Black Friday. We're going to do 7 for 5. So you
wow,
pay
7 to 5.
7 to 5, yeah. Those are your kind of odds, right, baby?
Yeah, I like that.
You like 7 to 5 odds?
You just pay for you pay for 5 services. We're going to put 7 in your account, so it's 2 totally free services.
How about that?
One day only. We only do it once a year, but we do. This year we do allow people to call ahead of time. Kind of a pre-sale kind of thing.
Yeah, and do that.
If
905-7676 or go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You got to call, though. Don't go to the website.
Yes.
Call.
Yeah, you have to call because it's a special deal that is not online. Although Cyber Monday, we will have certain things online, some bonus gift cards and things like that.
And here's the deal. If you want to get 14 for the price of 10, you can do that.
That's right.
You can get 20. You can get 21 for the price. I mean, you go on and you can just get as many as you want. And the great thing about gift cards is normally I would get 5 and I would give those out as gifts, and I get the 6th one and I get a free massage out of the deal while I take care of my 5 lady friends or guy friends or whatever.
Man, you are a maneuverer.
I managed to do that 14 for 10. It's a pretty good deal. Now you also got a hydrofacial thing that you and I talked about on Tony Kurre Radio, which is one of the most expensive things you have for good reason. But you're doing a deal on those too. What's that?
Yeah, 7 for 5 is still fairly expensive for that type of service. So we're actually going to do 4 for 3.
Okay.
So you only have to pay for 3, and we're going to give you the 4th one for free. So
and that's going to be something you're going to be doing year round, correct?
That is only Friday also.
Only Friday as well.
Black Friday. Yeah.
All right. So the last time you were here, we were going to put him on a table, and we were going to rub him down with one of your best for 30 minutes. And the GM called down and said, "That ain't happening."
Yeah, Kip Keefer, half naked on TV, not gonna happen.
Oh no, you were going to be full naked. It was going to be.
That's really not going to happen.
Buck naked is what you are. But I know you got a couple questions for our good friend here.
Well,
sponsor.
I just want to tell you, as a guy who has stupidly, in most cases, obsessively showered various females with all kinds of gifts, the very most impactful one you guys out there can get is a gift card to Stewart's Woodhouse Spa, because they love that more than anything. They'll like the chocolate, but then they'll blame you when they gain weight for giving it to them.
Right.
Chocolate is out. No. Jewelry is fine, but most of the time it just sits in a box on their counter. I'm telling you, a gift card to a spa, especially a top quality spa like Stewart's, is the balm. You will be the most popular guy in town.
It's right there at the summit.
Sir.
Yeah, it's right there at the summit. When you pull in the summit, right there on Highway 280, take the first right by the Village Tavern right there.
Yep.
It's tucked in the back. They got ping pong tables outside. It's a fantastic area. Get there early. Enjoy your time. Again, tell people where they can find you. We're going to blow the doors off this Black Friday thing.
Yes,
sir. 7
sir.
for 5, dude. You're saving like $400 or $500. And I will say this: once you get a gift card to the Woodhouse Day Spa, just plan on it being in the stocking every year from here on out. My 12-year-old daughter is like spoiled to bejeebers back every year. She's like, "If you talk to Mr. Stuart Rome, you had to give me a gift card." I'm like, "Okay, you're 12. You'll get yours." But tell people how they get in touch with you.
Yeah, so, like you said, for this thing, it's one of the only things we don't do online.
Mm-hmm.
So for the 7 for 5, you can give us a call, or you can obviously stop by the spot. But any other time, it's birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can book online. You can purchase gift cards. You can do, pretty much whatever you can do in person.
905-7676, 905-7676. And by the way, you and I were talking, roughly in this country, 30% of your clientele are men, which I thought was a little high. I thought it was closer to maybe 10 or 15%, and I think that's because you make guys feel so comfortable.
Yeah,
If you're a guy and you've never done this, now's the time, baby. Get it done in 2024.
You need it. We all need it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and we just had a scary election. We got all these crazy things going on, Kip. Everyone's anxiety. The suicide hotlines are on fire. I mean, everyone's freaking out. Go get yourself a massage and chill out a little bit. We're going to be okay. We're going to be all right, all right?
Yes, we are.
We're going to be okay. I think it's been more for me paralysis from analysis. It seems like the more I'm looking at these lines, these games, the harder it seems to be getting. It's supposed to get easier as you get more information now into Week 12 college football. I cannot wait to hear your marquee games. What you got?
The only marquee matchups in the country this week are in the SEC. You've got 3 teams tied for first place with 1 loss. You've got 5 teams tied for second for 2 losses. That's 8 out of the 16 teams in the league that are first and second. The other conferences, I looked high and low. There's no significant games, Tony. It's all the SEC. So here we go. You got the Georgia Bulldogs back home only for the 4th time all year, hosting Tennessee, who's really just been kind of going through the motions. Their offense is reduced to basically handing off to Dylan Sampson. I think this is a classic spot. Georgia's going to come to play. We will see how that goes. Also, we're going to stay in the SEC with contenders. All of these teams are still in the hunt. LSU, unbelievably, is still in the hunt. As bad as they looked, Alabama just boat raced them last week. LSU goes to Florida. The question here, how healthy is DJ Lagway? If he plays, the Tigers could get another one of these hung on their record. We've also got, at South Carolina, the Gamecocks are surging. They're into the top 20
They're
now.
having a hell of a nice season.
They really are. They had a couple stumbles early. Their fans are already looking at all the mathematical possibilities of how they can get in the playoffs. They host beleaguered Missouri. The word is that Brady Cook is still banged up, not going to play. That's a disaster for Mizzou. South Carolina hosting them, and they're surging. And the other game I'm looking at, Tony, is a game where it's pure hate as the Arkansas Razorbacks welcome the Texas Longhorns.
It's a long time, baby.
And you know that goes back to 1969. They were number 1 and 2 in the poll. The game on Thanksgiving weekend. Richard Nixon helicoptered in the president, and after the game, he went down to the locker room and congratulated Texas on winning the national championship. Problem was, and legend might address this, Alabama was undefeated at the time, and Richard Nixon declared Texas the national champion. The Razorbacks have hated Texas ever since. This is going to be a war. Texas on paper looks better, but I think you're going to see a great game in Fayetteville. What gets your attention?
Something tells me that Arkansas is going to be cutting it close there with Texas. I think that's going to be a different. If you look at these lines about 3 or 4 weeks, 14.5 is too much for Arkansas. South Carolina, I'm liking them as well. Of course, I think Sammy Pitt's done a fantastic job this year. The one game I think, and you and I talked about this before the show, I think you want to talk about boat racing. I think there's rubber marks. I think the dog will raise its leg on the Tennessee Dogs for sure. I think Georgia is going to get right today. That game last week was just an ugly game for the Georgia Bulldogs. We haven't seen that in a while. The last 3 times it has been Smart and Heupel. He's outscored Heupel 106-40, 2 of those games between the hedges. They're going to come out on fire, and I tell you what, they may only need 20 points to win this game because I don't think that defense. I think that defense. It is like one of those dog commercials you see at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Those poor little dogs they do in slow motion. That dog is hurt. That dog is coming out. I think Georgia is going to lay the wood on the Tennessee Volunteers. Unfortunately, for one of our sponsors, Southern Precision Staffing's Kai Gregory, who is a huge Tennessee fan. I'm sorry, Kai, but it ain't going to happen. Let's see what the legend thinks here.
Oh, the marquee matchup I'm looking at today is Tennessee and Georgia. Somebody's going home, somebody's going on. It's an elimination game, loser leave town. You say Tennessee ain't gonna have but 2 losses, but I think Tennessee is the odd team out if they lose this game today come playoff time. It's a big one, loser leave town. And the legend, don't care which one of y'all leaves, just go. Now on to Miss Terry, the First Lady.
Thank you, legend. Saturday night, there's a big marquee matchup that's going to be happening in Athens when the Tennessee Volunteers come to town to play the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is an 8.5 to a 9.5 point favorite in that game, and that seems to have some people really surprised. I'm not so sure why they're so surprised. Yes, because of the records right now, Tennessee is ranked ahead of Georgia. Circumstances are a little bit different. Coming into this game, Georgia's gotten to play all of 4 home games. Tennessee has played 6 with a much easier schedule than the Bulldogs. I can see why the odds makers are picking the University of Georgia. You know, Josh Heupel has never managed to have his Volunteers beat Georgia. In 2021, his first year on the job, Georgia went to Tennessee, came out with a 41-17 victory. Then in 2022, the Volunteers were going to be so strong. They had Hendon Hooker. They were going to come to Athens and teach the Bulldogs a lesson. Well, they got taught a lesson, 27-13. Dogs prevailed. Last year, Georgia goes back up to Tennessee again, comes away with another victory, 38-10. I think there's a reason that Georgia is picked by 8.5 to 9 points Saturday night. Now, the trick will be, can Georgia actually get their offensive line to block anybody? Can the Georgia defense and the secondary stop anybody? And can any of the Georgia receivers actually catch and hold on to the ball? All those things are big questions for this game. It's a big game. Gonna have college game day in town. Everybody's gonna be fired up. It's gonna be nighttime. The Dogs are gonna be as motivated as a team can possibly be. And whew, I can't imagine what it's been like with Kirby on the practice field this week. So I'm sticking with the Dogs to take away another W against Tennessee Saturday night. And now out to our man in the desert, Case Keefer.
Auburn over Kentucky, followed by South Carolina over Texas A&M, followed by Ole Miss over Georgia. That's right, 3 straight weeks, 3 outright upset winners in this segment for me. So what's number 4? Well, I hate to inform you, I don't have one. I like all the favorites this week to at least win outright among these marquee games. I think Georgia and Texas roll. South Carolina and LSU probably get it done as well. Maybe you could convince me some shenanigans there, but probably not. And look, it doesn't only apply to these marquee games for me this week. I look up and down my betting card in college football, and I am on a lot of favorites. That always makes you feel a little uncomfortable this late in the season when there can always be the shape-shifting upset pulled. I just don't see it this week. I think the favorites hold form, especially in the SEC. You'll have to catch me another week to call for another upset.
Step back into the groove and then into the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Check this out. It's all happening here.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino is the local place to win.
Good times right here.
Let the Birmingham Racecourse Casino bring the good times to you. The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where the good times roll.
Where you could be a winner too. Yeah, boy!
In the Coach's Corner today, we have Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. Now, in terms of full disclosure, I have to let you know that I've been a Lane Kiffin fan for quite some time. Kip Keefer can testify that I was so excited in December 2019 when Ole Miss hired Lane to be their head coach. I felt like there had never been a better marriage of coach and college than Lane Kiffin in Oxford, Mississippi. So in 2020, it was a little bit of a rough start. It was like a 5-5 season, but 2020 was a weird season anyway. In 2021, big difference started happening. They won 10 games. Now, this is really something because in the 3 previous seasons under Matt Luke, they had not had a winning record at all. 2022, a little bit of a regression, only won 8 games. But in 2023, they had their best season yet. They won 11 games and they only lost 2. But one of those 2 happened to be in Athens to the University of Georgia at the tune of 52-17. So that was a good old-fashioned you-know-what that happened then. Lane said Saturday night after his victory over Georgia that he knew that night when they lost by that large of an amount in Athens that something dramatic had to change. He said he knew the road to the playoffs was going to go through Georgia, and he had to make changes to be able to be competitive there. So Lane went out, Portal King, and he managed to round up the top-ranked Portal class of 2024. Now, in that class, he added to the defensive line starters. He already had 2 transfers that were starting on defensive line, brought 2 more in, so that defensive line is made up of 4 transfers who are starting. And those 4 transfers and that defensive line beat the out of Georgia last Saturday. They were so efficient that even when Georgia was way down, we act like it was a 40 point loss when it wasn't, but significantly behind in the latter parts of the game. Instead of using Carson Beck's strong arm to throw downfield, Georgia was reduced to throwing screen passes because Carson couldn't get enough time to do anything else. Ole Miss was that efficient on defense. And I gotta ask y'all, would any of us have guessed that the architect of that defense was gonna be none other than Pete Golding? Wow, color me surprised about that one. But on the offensive side, Lane also added his own personal spice to things. When Jackson Dart went down in the game and Austin Simmons was coming in as backup, Lane went to Austin and said, hey, this is not going to be a typical backup quarterback deal. We are going to run our regular game plan. You are going to throw the ball. This is not going to be a deal where you just hand off to a running back. And indeed, very first play from scrimmage with Austin was a pass. And he managed on that first possession to take the team all the way down the field and to score. So Lane's brilliance worked out there. We also saw Lane being maybe more flexible than in the past. Lane kicked 5 field goals. Wouldn't have ever seen that coming either. So congratulations, Lane Kiffin. You have really turned Ole Miss around.
Oh, and the Legend Cave, we're running out of time. The bugs have been planted in the Legend Cave. They said we got to get out of here. But before we get out of here, we talked Jalen Milroe last week, Kipper, and tell him what Kipper, tell him what Jalen did last week.
Jalen Milroe just ran all up and down, sideways and upside down over the LSU Tigers.
Yeah, we told you Brian Kelly was a fraud, and we told y'all right here, if Alabama's going anywhere, all y'all Ty Simpson folks need to sit down and realize that Jalen Milroe is the man. Now, DeBoer, I have to say I'm a little sorry. I was a little ruffled, DeBoer, wasn't I, Kipper? What do you think? I owe him an apology?
Yeah, you need to go ahead and take that pod thing to load up his furniture out of his front yard.
Well, maybe I get that U-Haul out of your yard, but don't slip up against Oklahoma or Auburn, or I'll bring it right back. Keep your mind in the game. In the Legend Cave, they're telling Kipper and me I got to get out of here. But remember, it's just a game. Don't be like the famous Kipper and the Legend.
Sports Insane.
I want to thank Stuart Rum, the Woodhouse Baseball. Just a great guy. He's come in here several times. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. A 7-for-5 deal coming up on Black Friday.
Amazing.
Call 905-7676. One day only, 7 for 5. Also, 4 for 3 of the hydrofacial thing. It's unbelievable. Great deals. You only heard about those here on the starting lineup, so check out the Woodhouse Baseball. Also, of course, our good friend Teresa Autry. She is wonderful with Expert Realty. 294-4210. 294-4210 with Expert Realty. She's been a broker for 30 years. She is fantastic. Southern Precision Staffing for all your staffing needs, carpentry or anything else, construction. Kai Gregory and his staff, they're ready to go. 205-682-2828 with your word and your handshake still means something. And one of our newest sponsors, and every time you look around here, I think the legend was kind of freaking out last night because we had Spy for Rent here, and I still think there's bugs around here somewhere.
Yeah, Legend Cave is wired.
Forget about the tanning beds. We have cameras up here at the starting lineup. You're going to see more skin on this show than you'll see anything else. Spy for Rent. Check out spy4rent.com for everything. Surveillance, child custody, divorces, you name it. They're going to pick up the dirty work for you and make sure you have it on film.
I hope you caught our show this morning on Jocks 94.5, our sister programs on radio, Kip and Terry Game Time, featuring the legend, coming on every week at 9 o'clock to give his thoughts on Alabama football and everything college pigskin. And you can catch that every week right before the starting lineup, 8 to 10, 94.5 Jocks. And also on Sundays, we have The Morning After, one of the most popular sports shows in Birmingham radio history. We give you your first opportunity to weigh in on everything you see on the field on Saturday. Do not miss it, 9 to 11, The Morning After, Jocks 94.5. And you can stream that by just saying, play Jocks 94.5 on your personal devices.
Hey, it's Case Keefer, Assistant Sports Editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes the Las Vegas Sun, longtime sports bettor and sports betting writer, here again for another version of the Vegas Heaters, and I'm a little down. The dream is dead 11 weeks into the college football season. Finally, a losing week on LasVegasSun.com. We were all so close in my college football by the odds column, 24 and 25 handicapping every football bowl subdivision game, but the good news is not a losing week here on the starting lineup. I know we've had a few in the past, but 4-3 if you put everything I gave out last week together. 2-1 in the Vegas Heaters segment. That makes the season-long marks 45-29 on everything I've given out on the show, and 23-15 here in the Vegas Heaters. It gets tough this time of year. The market is super tight. A lot of really serious bettors ditch college football to go bet college basketball, especially the big groups. More on that later, maybe as part of the bonus bet. But I want to string together another long winning streak. Maybe we can get to 11 straight weeks next week. Forget about next year. I was trying to say next year. Let's do it right now. Let's try to win every week we can. We're going to go with 4 college football picks this week, and the good thing is all from 4 different conferences. We'll go through them in order here of kickoff time, and we're starting in the Conference USA, where I will lay 14 points with Sam Houston going to Kennesaw State. Now, you'll remember Sam Houston, if you've watched the show for a long time, I was picking them week in and week out to start the year. We took a little bit of a break. They got a little banged up, and now they've had extra rest. Quarterback should be back, and what is going on in Kennesaw? They fire the only coach the program has ever known in Bohannon. Seems like the players are revolting. I don't expect a great effort with all that going on in the background. Sam Houston minus 14. Now to the Big Ten, where Penn State is taking on Purdue as 28.5-point favorites. And if there is one coach I don't mind laying these huge spreads with, it is Penn State's James Franklin. He has been incredible at covering them. And to me and to a lot of other people, this is widely expected. The reason he's been so great at covering them is because he makes it an emphasis to cover them. I think he wants to put cash in his boosters' pockets, and he has done that. He will go like crazy at the end of games. Let's say they're down 20 or they're up 24 here, up 27. He is going to go after the number and try to cover here. And against Purdue, which I would rate as the lousiest power conference team in the nation this year, I think he is going to have ample opportunities. We've backed Penn State a few times. Hopefully they get it done for us again here. Penn State minus 28.5 against Purdue. Back down south a little bit to a team that Penn State has beaten this year, West Virginia hosting Baylor. Baylor now a 2-point favorite. Now they opened a slight underdog. I really wish that we could have gotten in on it there. But still, as long as it's less than 3, I will say go ahead and lay it with Baylor. We made a bet on the Bears a little bit early in the season. I think they didn't come through for us, but this is a totally different team now. They've overhauled the offense with Sawyer Robertson coming in at quarterback. He has fit perfectly in Jake Spavital's system. I think they are one of the best teams in the Big 12 at current form. The defense is playing better too. West Virginia, Garrett Green has been hurt. He might be back here, but is he really going to be at 100%? West Virginia got awfully lucky with some turnover luck to win last year. Everything points to Baylor for me here. Baylor minus 2. And finally, in the ACC, even though the game is on the far West Coast, doesn't really make much sense to me or anyone but Cal, a team we've backed time and time again. If there was any justice in this world, they would still be in the ACC championship race. They just lost so many close games, had so many things break against them at the end. This is a tough trip for Syracuse, though, all the way across the country. I think the second or third time this year they've done it. I really like Cal. I think they have great pieces. I think this should probably be a double-digit win in Berkeley, so give me the Golden Bears minus 8 against Syracuse, and I hinted at that college basketball play to finish us off here. I promise I'm not pandering to certain parts of the audience or antagonizing other people on the show, but I got to tell you, in the SEC this year for me, college basketball, it is war darn eagle. I can't believe even after maybe the best regular season win anyone will have all year, going to Houston and beating the Cougars, they are still available at 3-1 to win the SEC regular season title.
Best bets upset. Let's do it. I'm 2-1 the last 4 weeks. I should be 6-0. Tony, I've had 2 absolute heartbreakers.
Stout, though.
Utah led that game all the way against BYU and let them off the hook. Thanks to the officials, by the way.
Sure.
They had 3 chances at 4th down. It was like the 72 Olympic basketball game.
But you did get the cover. I mean, they didn't win outright.
Oh, they did. They did. But that was my upset, unfortunately. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to see if we can get that 3-0 this week. Here's where I'm going to go. Already talked about in the open. Georgia, Tennessee, I think this is going to be an absolute massacre. Georgia's going to be so relieved to finally be back home after playing the most brutal schedule in the country. And Tennessee, I'm just not impressed with right now. I don't think they're hitting on all cylinders. People say, well, their defense is great. Well, they haven't really beaten anybody with a quality offense. Alabama was kind of sputtering at that time. If they had gotten the Alabama that we saw this past week, I think that would have been a blowout too. Yeah. But they also have a bad loss to Arkansas. I just think this is going to be a game that Georgia has to have. They're the backed into the corner. I like them. Give the 10 happily. In the Big Ten, which I don't like to go to, but I think there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb. Brett Bielema and Illinois have been pretty good this year. They haven't beaten the big teams in the Big Ten, but they're playing a team that, once again, has a good reputation, but doesn't really have much to back it up. Michigan State, who I think is dreadful. They're only a 2.5-point favorite at home. I think Illinois wins this game handily. And my upset, you may be shocked at this one, but I didn't think BYU looked like an undefeated number 6 team in the country last game. I know Utah threw everything at them. The Kansas Jayhawks, and you guys talk about smelly fish, the Kansas Jayhawks are 3-6 this year or whatever. They're only a 2.5-point underdog at BYU. What's up with that?
They're both evenly matched for sure.
I'm gonna take Rock Chalk Jayhawk to knock BYU out of the ranks of the unbeaten. They're getting 2.5, but I say they win straight up. Now let's see what the Legend's got. He's right in there fighting for first place with Case Keefer. Take it away, Ledge.
Oh, my best bets and dog of the week this week is all in the SEC. David Legend fumbled last week, so I'm back at starting quarterback. We put David Legend out at receiver. The Legend brothers are still together, incredible, 11-4 over the last few weeks. We're sticking SEC this week. I like South Carolina minus the points. It looked like minus 13.5 this morning. Take South Carolina to destroy Missouri, and I like Arkansas. That's right. I like Arkansas on 15.5 points against a Texas team that ain't played nobody all year. And for the dog, this one gonna knock your hat off. I like the Gators today. Yes, the Gators will get Brian Kelly the Frog.
I'm a Kansas graduate, but there is no bias in this pick. The Jayhawks are smoking the BYU Cougars this week. I maybe have never seen a team as fraudulent as this BYU team that ekes out another win they had no business getting last week. Kansas is rolling now. Don't worry about BYU being number 4 in the college football playoff rankings with the bye. They're losing a couple times down the stretch of the season. It starts here with Kansas. Speaking of a team like Kansas that's found its offense late in the season, give me another basketball school. North Carolina minus 10.5 hosting Wake Forest. Demon Deacons have a ton of injuries on defense. They can't stop Omari and Hampton and Ja'Cory Criswell. And finally, I've been all about favorites this week, but one underdog, I'm going to take Wisconsin plus 14 out of a bye, hosting Oregon. I've been kind of impressed with the progress the Badgers have made this year. Oregon not really blowing anyone away. I think 14 might just be a little too much. Those are my upset.
My best bets and my big old upset. Let me tell you something. This has been something I have taken more time this year in looking at these stinking games and making it right. And I have come so close so many times. I'm going to get it done this week. For only the second time in the last 20 years, Northwestern is catching more than 4 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
They're catching a 30 spot against the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm taking Northwestern to get it done. Of course, since 2020, they're 10-3 against the spread when they're catching 30 or more points.
Wow.
I also like... See, and I got to go. I think Georgia's going to win too. I was going to go a different game, but I got to go winner chicken dinner here. You're 8-2 the last 4 weeks. I'm sucking wind here, so I love Georgia too. I think Georgia's going to lay the wood against Tennessee. I think it could be 14, and I don't think it'd be high enough. I think it'd be fantastic. And there's this little team that, quite frankly, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it may have been the worst team in college football. I love these teams that try really hard, but only 5 times under Troy Calhoun has Air Force been an underdog in November. They're 5-0 straight up on those underdog games.
Yep.
I love them, plus the 3 against the Beavers of Oregon State. Of course, they put up an 80 spot. They ran the ball 80 times last week. Oregon State is the 5th worst team in college football when it comes to giving up the run. I think Air Force is going to rerun a roughshod all over them. We hope you do well. Let's do anything. Go to K4Wins.com. K4Wins.com. If you missed any of our plays, all of our plays are up. You get Case's plays up there, Legends plays, everything. K4Wins.com. And enjoy your full day of SEC football right here on ABC 33's Starting Lineup.